All right, so 2 preseason games in and a few games into training camp, and everything seems to be going great so far. Has that changed our expectations that we have for the Avalanche, say, from a month ago? Let's talk about it on a new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
Your Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. Joining me, as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. And if you want to get in on the conversation, then join our subtext. The link is in the show notes below. Chat with Zach and I one-on-one, get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. We're going to be hearing a lot from the subtext crew today because they've been sending in a ton of questions that we feel like we need to clear the deck with the mailbox. So we'll get to a lot of them today. It might carry over into tomorrow. We also got some Instagram questions, which we'll get to eventually. But right now is like the conversation part of the preseason where people have questions.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll have the answers, but we'll try.
We will answer them. They may not be the right answer,
exactly.
But we will answer them.
Exactly. I can guarantee you we will answer these questions. Outside of that, I can't guarantee any if it's going to be good information or not. But let's just dive right in here because, like I said in the opening, Brandon sent in a text that said, what are the expectations for the Avalanche this year? And I know like we've kind of gone over this a little bit before, all during maybe within the last month or so, kind of even further than that, maybe really all off season. Once we knew like the roster was kind of like coming into form, we've talked about that, what our expectations are for this season. But I thought like the interesting way to like kind of maybe phrase this is, has that changed in like the last week or two, like since training camp and these couple preseason games that the Avalanche won that don't mean anything, but they won and they played well in those games, and the things that they're saying, when they're sitting in the locker room and they're asked questions by the media, and Jared Bednar's asked questions by the media, and I'm sure this goes for all 32 teams right now of like everything's great. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Our records are 0-0, but focus that stuff on the Avalanche. And in the last week or so, has your expectations of what this season could be changed based on all of the most recent things that have been going down?
Yes-ish. It has changed in the fact that I am now 100% on the Western Conference Final or bust. You get there or it's a blown season. I think if you don't make a conference final, I don't think that you succeeded in what you thought you could do for this year. That being said, I kind of had a little bit of that mentality before seeing everything, but watching how the guys have been gelling, watching Landeskog coming back, watching all these things happen, all the pressers, it's cemented in my head now. You have to make it to that Western Conference Final. There can't be a first or second round exit again. If you do that, then you've fallen well below my expectation now for the season. They've said all the right things. They've been playing the right way. They won their first 2 preseason games. So, automatically they're the best team in the NHL right now. That's just not even a question.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to make it that far.
Yeah, it shouldn't change like how you feel about your team not only a month ago. Shouldn't really change, but I think it's just human nature for it to happen like that. Unless something catastrophic happened, like somebody went down that's out for the year already, and like, well, that's going to play a big role. None of that's happened, and it happens every year. Like when you go into training camp and guys are raring to go, and everything just seems like it's where it's supposed to be, and we're heading into the season with everybody saying all the right stuff, and you get a little bit of like the butterflies to say like, oh, this team is going to be better than I expected.
Yeah,
there's nothing there that's really different than what was there 2-3 weeks ago, except for on ice stuff. and you're seeing stuff on ice, you're seeing stuff in practice, and you're hearing what they're saying, and it registers with me, and I'm like, oh, my expectations have totally changed. Not to say like, oh, just award them the cup. No, that's not where I'm going with this. But I'm with you in that where initially, like I was thinking, could they make, like we were saying, like the barometer is like Western Conference Finals. Could they do that to, yeah, like they could, anything is possible type of mentality to, they definitely can do it. I don't know if that's fair to think that or not, just because maybe my head's in the clouds right now and I'm just feeling good because it's a hockey season that is another hockey season that's starting and that gets everybody excited. But no, I think this is a very good team. Clearly a very good team. And I think I just needed to see some like them in the mix in practice and get some return on all of the stuff that we've just talked about. And now that you see like the actual product, even though it's only practice and even though it's only training camp and even though it's only split squad preseason games, you can kind of see the pieces of being like, okay, yes, this team, they can do it. They definitely could do it.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah,
it is. It is absolutely, to me, it's 100%. You've got to make it to that Stanley Cup final, or not Stanley Cup. Sorry, Western Conference final. I'd love to see the Stanley Cup final. Western Conference final, I think, is the expectation, and I don't think, again, like you said, knock on wood, barring something catastrophic, I don't think there's any reason not to make it there. The team is deeper. Everybody's been saying it. The team is currently healthy. Again, knock on wood. Landeskog back, I think, is way more of a boost than, and we've been saying how big of a boost it is. I think it's even more of a boost than I realized.
100%.
It's
absolutely. That's one that you can just say it and you know the importance of him. That's no secret.
Yeah.
But now that, again, they're getting those practices in with him being there, now you see the what he brings to the team.
Yes.
Again, not that we forgot about it, but watching the players respond to it is that was missed. Definitely.
It's wild. I mean, last year you had the big hat that Gabe apparently put together and did all those things. And like, you had all the cool stuff and he was still bringing some of those intangibles, but it's obviously different once he hits the ice. And it's just so like, oh man, last episode we were talking, like, when do you really get excited? When do you get those? I'm getting them, man. I'm getting that feeling in the stomach. Like, I am pumped for the season. I can't wait for it to start and see what what we have in store.
Madam Battleaxe asked a question. She asked a few of them, like usual. I won't get to all of them like all at once. We'll save the fun ones for the third segment.
Yeah.
But she asked about Nathan MacKinnon and could he break his point record of 140 points, which he got when he had, won the Hart Trophy. It's that is a huge number. that was just a season that is not going to happen year after year. I think the easy answer for that is no. But I think it would go back to like, well, don't bet against Nathan MacKinnon.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can you top 140? That's a big ask.
I really think it's going to depend on how the second, third lines play and how much attention they have to put on MacKinnon. But yes, I'm actually going to say yes. If I had to put if I was going to take one of those free bets and pop it on an over/under MacKinnon 140 points, I think I'd put it on the over. And I think it's just because you see that hunger back. It seems to be renewed in him with Landeskog again back on the ice, given that boost. You've got Marty Nečas out there playing really well. You've got Val potentially out there and healthy. You just, instead of teams being able to be like, okay, zone in on MacKinnon, zone in on Makar, and we've locked him down. Now all of a sudden it's, okay, zone in on MacKinnon. Well, crap, Nečas is over there freaking scoring points on us nonstop. So let's try to focus on him. Okay, now MacKinnon's back and available. It's like, I think that's going to open up his game a ton. I really think if there's a season for him to top it, this would be the season. The depth of the team, I don't know, man. And again, maybe I'm just too optimistic head in the clouds right now, but
that's what I was going to say. Like, when you have a team that's good, I'd rather go into the season watching them being optimistic than being pessimistic.
Yeah.
And just saying like, oh, they're not the best team in the league. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that they can't win the cup. The on paper team that's the best team in the league is not just awarded the Stanley Cup in October.
Right.
That's why we play a season. So I'm way more optimistic going into a season. And then if things don't go the way they're supposed to go, then you talk about that.
Yeah.
But I don't like going into a season being like, well, they got to deal with Dallas and Florida's going to win 3 in a row. And what's the point? I can't be built that way when I'm watching my team play hockey. I know there's a lot of people that are that way. There's a lot of people that go into a season arms folded, say, prove it to me. That's fair. Yep. To me, I go into a season saying like, I like what this team can do. I want them to go do it. And I'm going to, support them all the way. And if they don't do it, no problem breaking that down and saying what went wrong. Yeah. But I don't want to go immediately right to, well, these are all the things that are going to go wrong that haven't gone wrong yet. I do the opposite. I think you're kind of the same way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the 48-point season, I was like, okay, mathematically, if they win these games, they can still make the playoffs. And
yeah,
I mean, obviously it wasn't going to happen, but I do tend to probably lean on the optimistic side a little bit more. I mean, heck, as a Bronco fan, I said Trevor Siemian would take us to the playoffs. So, there's that. Yeah. There's maybe a little too much optimism. The MacKinnon points thing, though, I know that I'm looking through some burgundy colored glasses. I still, though, just the way he's talked, the way he plays, the focus he has, and that just renewed energy in the building. If there's a year that he can do it, it's this season.
Could happen.
I think so.
Quickly, she also asked about, is there a ETA on these new jerseys that we keep talking about? We don't know, but they did announce on Tuesday this fan day that they're going to have.
Yeah.
On Saturday. And if it's any consolation, that's when the Oilers, which just announced their jersey, they did that on an Oilers fan day. I don't know if either are connected somehow, but we got one fan day jersey reveal. So clearly we're going to get a jersey reveal on the Avalanche fan day.
They're just waiting to get the ink on paper for Sidney Crosby's contract before they can release the jersey.
Still,
I apologize to everybody because now the Avs have to do that, and that's what's been delaying this jersey release. It's my fault. I'll take responsibility.
That's going to go from the greatest jersey reveal of all time to the greatest idea of a jersey reveal of all time.
Yeah,
so and you can claim that one. I love it. So, all right, let's get a break in here, and of course, we have questions on Martin Nečas and if he's going anywhere. So we'll get into that right after this. Let's hear from FanDuel because the NFL season is, of course, here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I don't know if you can bet that the Broncos will lose on a last-second field goal for the third straight week, but maybe it's in there somewhere over at FanDuel.
Maybe you can bet on the fact that they will not lead will not be losing in the fourth quarter until the clock hits 0, because 2 weeks in a row, they have not been losing in the fourth quarter ever. They haven't trailed and then lost the game.
So maybe there's your $5 bet. You can find that over on FanDuel. Put that in. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That is FanDuel.com to place that first $5 bet today. All right, getting back to some questions and conversations we've been having with our people over at Subtext. We had, so this is from Not the Judge Napolitano, is their name, which is, I love it. So they're asking about Martin Nečas and if there was a deal. Like if we're playing Chris McFarland, what's the deal you're offering for Marty? It goes on to ask, like, are they close? And if he is dealt, what does that make us feel about the Mikko deal in the end? I don't want to get to a deal for Martin Nečas right now. I don't want to go that far because I don't feel like they're looking to trade him right now.
No.
Could that change in January? Like the timeline Mikko Rantanen had? Maybe. That's when I'll start talking about a trade. But I guess we could do the other parts of this question, which is, are they close? I don't know, but in just kind of reading the tea leaves with how Nečas is talking about it, just seems like they're talking. I would have to think that it's closer than we think it is. I don't think they're far apart. You hear when guys are far apart, when guys and teams are far apart. And when you don't hear that part of it, when you just hear like they're talking, usually that means they're closer than we think.
Everything I hear is they're talking. I don't hear it's imminent. But I also don't hear it's further apart than you think. And with Nečas coming out,
you don't hear any like,
right.
Yeah.
With him squashing that rumor of I don't like Colorado, with him coming out and saying, I don't know where that came from. My game fits great here. I really like it here. The mustache picture on the social media stuff. I don't like stuff like that though. If you're unhappy, you're not popping out and doing those things. You're not having a good time. So you're not doing those fun types of things. I'm not saying that like, ooh, he's on social media having a good time. Contract's getting signed tomorrow. But I am saying like clearly there's conversation happening. So with my source being me, I still think the contract gets signed by early November.
Yeah, and he's saying, I'm letting my agent take care of that, which is the right thing to say. So, and that's what agents do. That's why agents are there, so they can then deal with the money side of things while they can go focus on playing the game. And if they've hired the right agent, they don't have to worry about the contract because they'll take care of it and they can go focus on the game. So that's really where we are. Right? Like you're not hearing all the negative things just came from really unverified sources of that he was unhappy here. And you heard it from his own mouth. Don't know where that came from. And as far as the contract goes, he's letting his agent handle that. Now, the other part of this question, if he is dealt, what does that make us feel about the Mikko deal in the end? I think, again, that's a valid question. And it doesn't make me feel good. And that's saying even before, if they do move him, whatever the return would be.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that think like if they do want to go after Sidney Crosby, he could be in the mix for that. I don't want to think about that stuff right now.
No,
but just to answer that question, it's not a good look if the guy that you brought in, that was the big name and for who you brought in for the big name going out, only lasted about a year for you. That doesn't look good.
We're both on the same page that we are C-Mac believers. I think Chris MacFarland does a good job. I don't have any real issues with him. But if you turn around and have to trade Marty Nečas and you get even just like the same kind of return that you got in the Mikko trade, like something similar-ish to it, especially if it puts you in the same situation the following season. But I mean, unless you're getting a haul, and I mean a haul back for Marty Nečas in a trade, I lose a lot. Like that takes MacFarland down a lot in my book. That makes me lose a lot of faith in his ability to get stuff done. I don't see that happening. I really am not quite at that point yet, but that's where I would be on that one. If it ends up being a Marty Nečas trade, oof, that is a rough look on that front office.
Yeah. No, it is because, and like I said, like I don't want to talk about what the players involved could be, because to me, sure, that would be an important factor, obviously.
Yeah.
But part of it is like, you don't want to keep doing this. You don't want, this will be 2 years in a row now of, a revolving door at that position. And whoever they bring in, if there were to be a trade, are we, what's that guy's contract? And are we going to be doing this again next year? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many questions that revolve around it. And sure, you could kind of, paint a bright side of it and say like, well, he got another deal done and, we couldn't sign a guy, but they brought in whoever. But the flip side of that is like, but that's not what you want to keep doing. You want stability, especially with top line guys. You want stability there. And you wanted that with Mikko. Clearly that didn't happen. So you want to go with Marty Nečas. And then the other question is like, what's the dollar? That's what I really want to see what's going to happen here is what's the dollar amount going to be? Because good Lord, if the Avs overpay here and go like 11.5 for him, which I don't think is going to happen. I'm on record saying I think they overpay to 10.5.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more to stomach that it's 1.5 less than Mikko. But if they go like the closer they get to 12 million, the more people are just going to say like, well, why didn't you just keep Mikko Rantanen? But there's a lot more than that because apparently that's what they were offering. And he said, no, I know this just keeps going back and forth on this conversation, but
yeah,
what Mikko has signed for in Dallas, we know what that is. And, if Nečas creeps up to that, people are not going to be happy, even though we've kind of heard, well, they offered him 12 and he said no.
Yeah.
2 teams for that. So.
But that's the other thing is like, if you're offering what the league seems to look at as a less than Mikko Rantanen player, and I think like all the national media kind of reported the same thing. Like, yeah, the Avs got Nečas, but he's no Mikko Rantanen,
right.
And you let us, a bona fide superstar go. So if you end up offering him close to the same that you offered Mikko Rantanen, like especially even if they sign him for that, then it's, well, why didn't you just offer Mikko a little bit more? Why didn't you do more to keep the Moose around? And those would be legitimate questions, 100%. You have to be able to sign him, I think, in that, like you said, up to the 10.5 range. And at that point, at least you're saving enough cap space to justify the decisions that you made. As long as Nečas does pan out to play as well as I believe he can. I really do. Like, I'm on record being a believer in him as well. And maybe, again, that's the optimist of me. Don't worry, when things go poorly, I will have a semi-pessimistic side. So everybody out there like, oh, Zach's just too positive. Don't worry, it'll flip if it has to. But right now, beginning of the season, nothing but happy. So Nečas is going to work out great. We're going to sign him for right around that 10 to 10.5. And we won't have to be having this discussion for another handful of years. We'll be locked in. I
think that's the big thing is just get him signed and put this thing to bed and then roll with it. Roll with what you got. Yep. So, all right, let's get our last break in here and then some fun questions coming up, such as memorabilia that we like to collect and our favorite hockey movies. I don't know if we've ever talked about that on this show, but
don't think so.
We're going to do that. We're going to do that next. All right, got a good question from Aunt Kitty here, and they ask, I'm kind of a new hockey fan, still learning so much. Which teams have the best culture and why? Of course, I think the Avs are up there, but curious to see what you guys think. It's kind of a difficult question to answer because I'm not around all the other teams, fan bases and things like that. And I've interactions with some people. I should say I have some interactions with some people from other teams, and usually those are every fan base has a bad side. Every fan base. That's usually who comes over here when we're having conversations, and I don't hold that against the fan base. You know what I mean? Like when it's playoff time, we get like the worst of the worst from that team's fan base and just spouting off at the mouth and whatever. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't then go say, oh, that team's fan base is terrible because you've had 3 people come over to our message boards and just, tear into us. So it's tough because, while I have good conversations with people too, it's really tough to know specific team bases and cultures and fan bases and stuff like that. But I have a couple that I think are good, but I want to hear what you think too.
So I guess I read the question a little different. I was thinking like what team itself has the best culture, and I would definitely say the Avs are up there because they have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is. I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking more of like the culture of everything. Yes, team fan base, everything about it. But
fair.
Sure.
But I can answer that both ways. So I think
Okay.
team overall culture, it's crazy to say this, but I would put San Jose as one of my top ones because those are a bunch of guys that look like, I know they haven't been the best recently, but they're building the right way and they look like they're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like it's a fun game to watch. And it pains me to say it because I don't want to like them, but darn it if Utah does not look like a good culture so far with the new
Could be.
like ownership seems to be doing a good job of building that up the right way and
Yeah.
getting those guys like all bought in and excited. And then the last one for team itself is Florida, because if everybody's going to stick around and people are going to take discounts and they're all going to hang out to try and win back to back to back cups, you got to figure that's good.
Yeah, as far as like a team culture goes, yeah. I mean, the team that's winning is always seems to have like a great
They have
culture.
a good culture.
Yeah, but the other team that's in Florida seems to have a pretty good culture too, and that's Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And they're still winning a decent amount. So, I mean, yeah,
Yep.
they're also a really, really strong culture there for sure.
They are. Fan base wise, maybe people aren't gonna like this, but I just get the vibe that Nashville does. I feel like Nashville
Interesting.
has a good, like, those people love that team. It's not your typical hockey market, but they have embraced it for years now, and it just seems to work there. So
Yeah.
I think they have a pretty good culture. I think in a way all of them do.
Yeah.
There's none that are just like toxic environments or anything like that that I could really think that are so bad that, well, for a little while there, Chicago was recently because of recent
Yeah.
events, but you know what I mean? So you have moments that, oh, this team's going through a rough patch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and another one, Winnipeg, I think is another one.
Winnipeg, I think, is a good fan base
Because
culture.
they have fan base and that front office. Like, it's tough. It is tough to bring people in there because remember we did that athletic survey where that was like the one place nobody wanted to go to.
No one.
And they have put together a winning team, and they've got the best goalie in the league that has signed an extension. You know what I mean? So, and on top of that, yes, fan base wise, those fans are fanatical about that team. So I think that's a good one too.
But they don't seem fanatical, at least not quite yet, in that way of like some Canadian teams or New York teams or Philadelphia, any sport teams where that fan base is like, you're doing great and we are so behind you. But then the moment you do anything bad, it is a complete flip and we are going to riot. Yep.
Absolutely.
So I got to say, Winnipeg's got a little bit more of kind of that positive feeling, even if they don't live up to the full expectation. They'll hold them accountable, but not in a we'll burn your barn down type of way.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think Winnipeg's a good choice. Nashville's an interesting one, not one that I would have even considered, but I don't think I can argue it.
No, and I've had some friends go there just for like vacation, and they're like, there just happened to be a hockey game. We went to it. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Like they just, they put on a show almost kind of like Vegas, but I'm not saying Vegas because
I won't say Vegas. I can't do
it.
Nope.
That one I don't get. We had one about our favorite movie. Who asked that one? Was that not the, I think that was not the Judge Napolitano again who asked that one. I could be wrong on who asked that. I apologize. But they asked two questions. Our favorite all-time hockey movie. And then out of the current Avs roster, who do you think could make the cut as a two-sport professional athlete? And what sport would that be? So
that's an interesting one.
Interesting question. But start with the hockey movie, and I mean, you could throw out the usual hockey moves that everybody loves, but I'm gonna throw out a random one. But go ahead, not random, but different.
I hope you've got one that's out there because it's the speech at the end of the movie before they
This was Adam who asked this question, by the way. I found it. Adam, I want to give him credit, so he asked that. Go ahead.
Okay, Adam, I'm sorry. I'm going to be the boring answer on this one. Yeah. It's got to be for a hockey movie. It absolutely 100% has to be Miracle. I can't
Oh,
There's just not another one I can choose. That speech gets me so fired up. And then when they switch to the actual broadcast for the very end of it,
yeah, that's cool.
like even just thinking about it, I can feel the chill run down my spine. It's such a cool moment in history and such a great movie. Yeah, and so I've got to go with that one. And then special shout out to the Mighty Ducks, only because it gave my family the line, "There were no rules in the 80s." And that's just a running joke in my family now. So
I think, the two that most people say are Miracle or Slapshot.
yep.
I think Slapshot is absolutely has to be up there. And I remember when I saw like the trailer for Miracle and I saw that it was like Disney, and I love Disney, nothing against Disney. But when I saw that those were like two things connected, I was like, that's not going to be good. I was like, they're going to make it cheesy. They're not going to stay true to the story. They're going to it's going to be based on a true story and just kind of create like different things. Like, but then I watched it and I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is phenomenal movie. They did a fantastic job with that. So yes, so definitely Miracle, definitely Slapshot. Adam's funny here because when he asked the question, he said, I always loved the Mighty Ducks, but now when I go back and watch, it drives me crazy that they're always off sides when they do the flying V. So now it's a toss up between Miracle and Goon for him.
Goon's a good one. That's
Goon's great.
Ridiculous, yeah, but it's a good one.
It's so far out there. But that was one where I'm like, oh God, Stifler's in it. Like, this is going to be a dumb movie. Actually, a pretty fun movie.
Right? Not a bad one at all. Good choice. Good choice, Adam.
I never saw Goon 2, though. I admit I have not seen Goon 2. But the flying V thing is hilarious. Because that's not the only thing that's just when you go back and watch that movie, you're just like, none of this stuff adds up. And there's been breakdowns. I think like the Barstool guys have done it where, they're talking about like how many points he had is just like, it would be impossible. You'd have to score like 5 points a game for how many points he had in a season. It just, and then like, I don't know if it was Mighty Ducks 1 or 2, but they made a goalie change and they like, how did he get the gear on? It was only during a timeout when he got the gear on. Like, it's impossible. It's funny, like all these breakdowns after the fact.
There were no rules in the 80s.
No, it was just tell
Chaos.
The story.
Yep.
Tell the story. For me, though, man, like, yes, all those movies are great ones. I love the movie Youngblood. I don't know if you've seen Youngblood or not.
No.
It's a fantastic hockey movie.
Okay.
Fantastic. Patrick Swayze's in it. I mean, Patrick Swayze was in everything in the 80s.
Well, now I gotta watch it with the wife because that'll be a winner movie there.
If it's got to be streaming on something.
Youngblood, I'll look it up.
But Rob Lowe's the main character. Rob Lowe's the main guy, and just a great hockey movie that I feel like doesn't get enough deserved attention.
Okay. So, well, I'll give it some more attention for you.
Yeah. And then we'll finish up with, there's a couple other ones too. There's one was about a favorite meal. Brandon asked us what our favorite meal was.
That's so hard for me to choose.
It's tough. I am a chicken parm guy.
Man, I love to cook. I love to cook. So I can't choose a favorite meal because it really will, like, it'll vary so often. And it's really just, what am I in the mood to cook up?
Right. I'm just basic. Just like chicken, like just a turkey club is fine for me, man. Like I don't need to go crazy. Oh, we forgot about the other part too, about the athlete who could play two sports.
Oh, yes.
For the Avs. I know, and this happened in the bubble. When they were showing, just trying to create content and stuff like that, they showed Sam Girard playing cornhole, and he nailed every single bag into the hole.
I knew I liked that guy.
I don't know if it's just a natural ability for him, but Sam Girard playing cornhole was, seemed to be a natural at it.
All right, let's see. There you go. I don't know who I would think to be a two athlete. Man, I've liked his answers of MacKinnon playing rugby and Makar being a soccer player, especially with the Makar kicks that I've seen. But man, who do I actually think would be a two? Maybe maybe Val. And what would he play
what?
though? I don't know. I just see him like being ultra competitive and going into another sport as
Curling.
well. Man, that
Like
would be
curling,
wild to watch that dude out there curling.
right?
You're gonna, there will be none of those like the other team's pieces. They'll be gone because he will
Gone.
sweep that ice so good that thing will blast him out of here.
I wonder, there's probably somebody in the Avs that's really good at golf.
I think a bunch of them.
I think Gabe is good at golf. I think Ross Colton is pretty good at golf, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think there's a bunch of guys that are pretty good golfers on the team. I don't know.
I feel
if
like
they could
hockey players and golf go together too well, though. I that just seems like every one of them goes out.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not good. I just always see them playing golf, and it kind of makes sense. The Happy Gilmore connection and whatnot.
Yeah,
But
it's true. Yeah, yeah. And then finally, this is one I wanted to end with was this is from Not the Judge Napolitano again. Any favorite swag or memorabilia that we typically collect in the hockey world? I've talked about this before, and I have some things right over there. Is a pair of Nazem Kadri gloves, hockey gloves right there. So I got those. But I collect pucks.
That's what
I have
I
a
do.
lot of pucks. And they were organized at one point. They were on this wall and I had like a puck holder and they were all there. I took that down and hung the jerseys up. So now I literally just have pucks like all over the place. I just have stacks of pucks right here. I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. But every time they come out with something Avalanche or like the playoff pucks, I always buy. I got one right here. Like when Gabe Landeskog had his 500th career point, they came out with that one. So I bought that. So just everything that they come up with, I typically get it. On top of like, I just went and got this one because I knew this was going to be, you're not going to be able to get this because they might not do this tournament anymore. But I went and got the Four Nations puck.
Nice.
Like
Okay.
So stuff like that. Like I just, it's small. It's a good memento of different things that happen throughout the.
Yeah, I've got the two behind me here. The one on the inside closest to my shoulder is a gift from my last job when I left. They all pitched in and got me a EJ signed puck.
Nice.
And then the one next to that is a Patrick Waugh signed puck.
Ooh.
And so I do the same thing. I always go and pick up pucks when I go to the games. Usually there's like an item of the game for $5. I'll do that. But I don't know that that's really my collective. I don't know that I have really a specific one. It really depends on what I'm feeling looks cool. Like that's sort of where it is. And a puck's always easy to grab. So I have a lot of hats. You know what? Maybe we'll go hats. I have a lot of these.
All right.
So that could be it.
I think I just like pucks. I've kind of collected them for a while. Most of the other stuff I kind of outgrew. Like for years I collected comic books. So I still have like tons of long boxes of comic books, but that stopped a while ago because that gets expensive quickly. So I kind of like, hey, if a puck is usually $20 or something like that.
Yeah.
And doing that every once in a while is a lot easier than spending, $50-$60 a week on comic books because they're just constantly coming out. So, but
no,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think pucks is a good, especially for hockey.
It's a
really good one. Yep.
So, always interested to hear what other people like to collect. So,
and this one actually I just thought of too. I like getting these things when I can sign up for the races.
Oh, those 5K. Oh, that's nice, man.
So I've got that one, and I've got the two that are sitting up here because I don't have any others at the moment. Is the Broncos 7K.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And so, I really like those things too, especially because they end up typically supporting some kind of charity. So those are fun. Well,
I have or I don't have it, but I would have the bumper sticker that says 0.0. I don't run. Is what it would say. So
nice.
Not anymore. All right, that is going to wrap it up for today, everybody. So fire away in the comments section. We'd love to hear anything that you guys relate to during this episode. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Anything that's going on in Avalanche World, we will be talking about it on that episode. But for this one, thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. He's Mr. Zach Pearson. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow, where you will have made it through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby's that much closer to being with the Colorado Avalanche.